Well, hello there. Say hello to YouTube, Sam.
Hello to YouTube, Sam. Oh, it's been a while.
We haven't said that in a long time. So, the request of many folks, I've been instructed to do a Pop Psych starter kit. And I just quickly, 10 minutes maybe?
He zipped through.
Yeah, I just went through. I didn't just pull out all the grails because I think that's sort of obviously that's not the point of a starter kit. I kept it a nice mix of some of the good ones to look for along with the sort of that stuff that you can find pretty easily at the thrift store that a lot of times people overlook. So just kind of go through these real quick. I have a lot. There's probably about 60. Some starter kit, right? But this is sort of based. Let me go run over and get this real quick.
That's not a starter kit. That's a giant mound.
Giant mound of records. Of course, it all begins here with the Nuggets compilation. So a lot of it, a lot of these bands for a while, I was grabbing some of the 7 inches. There's one right there. Run, Run, Run by the Third Rail. Got that just recently. But a lot of, for a while, I was just kind of collecting each one of these on 45 because that's the way a lot of these have been released. Of course, there's some of the LPs that just go for silly money. So, but a lot of it is sort of based around this, and it's sort of what I kind of kept in mind when I was sort of doing this. There's a picture of John Wayne there for you.
We just have it laying
around. Anyhow, so here's I'm gonna just rapid fire these. Here's Grateful Dead's first album, 1967. Just fantastic. This is an essential in any psychedelic collection. I'm gonna put them here. Hopefully we don't run out of room. Okay. This is another big one. Usually this is pretty easy to find. Beatles Magical Mystery Tour. Essential. I think that's probably the most psychedelic that the Beatles got. Here's another good one. This is often overlooked.
Very good.
Very good. The Bee Gees' first album. I mean, I would go out on a limb to say the first four. Idea, Horizontal, and Odessa, all sort of in that psychedelic kind of thing. Definitely essential. Mono too. This is an essential in mono, much as most of these are mono that I guess I'm going to show because that's sort of the way that it goes. Fifth Dimension by the Byrds, probably as psychedelic as the Byrds kind of got, kind of abandoning their sort of country rock jangle roots of sorts. Country Joe and the Fish, another one from '67. This is on Vanguard. Electric music for the mind and body. As Flying High, just really, really good stuff on there.
It's all pretty psychedelic covers.
Yeah,
too.
I mean that's one thing that just makes it easy to look for. Here's another one that's very easy to find in my opinion. Creamed as Raleigh Gears. Defines the genre of sorts. Here's a couple by Donovan. Sunshine Superman. Definitely a big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites off of here is The Trip. I love that one. Fat Angel, another one's just fantastic. Season of the Witch.
I like Ferris Wheel a lot too.
Ferris Wheel is also good. So another one sort of overlooked sort of thing. Another one by Donovan. Hurdy-Gurdy Man. I used to play this on my radio show. Hurdy-Gurdy Man in particular. But even, Entertaining of a Shy Girl.
So, the first mix CD Mark ever made me.
Jennifer Juniper.
He put
Probably put a lot of those. I was really listening to that album quite a bit.
You put Hurdy-Gurdy Man on there.
That's when the Hurdy-Gurdy Man.
And I was like, what am I listening to?
Yeah, and I mean honestly, I never really got into Donovan right away because it was more like I was more of like a Bob Dylan purist, and there's that one part in Don't Look Back where he's playing It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. Like Donovan, he takes the guitar from Donovan and he plays it to him. He sort of sings it right at him, which I always thought was sort of like him saying, you can never beat Dylan. But Donovan definitely has some good, where Dylan has absolutely no psychedelic albums whatsoever. Donovan definitely makes up in that category. So, and Donovan, his songs aren't really too heady. That's not really the point, I would say. Here's another one in mono, Essential. Mellow Yellow, Writer in the Sun, Sand and Foam, The Observation, Bleak City Woman, House of Yonch, Young Girl Blues, Museum. Fantastic. Sunny South Kensington. That's a great Donovan album. Probably one of my favorites. Here's the Electric Prunes with I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night. Of course, that leads off the Nuggets compilation. This is the Four Seasons with the Genuine Imitation Life Gazette. This was the Four Seasons doing psychedelic music. I have another one in here. I guess I'll flip right to that. But this one sort of, is what I want to say. It's sort of like, when some of these artists went and they were more so like early pop singers and then they tried psychedelic, it didn't really work. And now, like a lot of those albums now, of course, they were completely panned by critics back in the day, but now they've sort of, have the cult status. I would say this is definitely one. Really, really cool packaging and everything. Another one, this is Chad, which is Chad Mitchell from the Chad Mitchell Trio. This is where he attempts to do psychedelic stuff. Does a cover of Both Sides Now, and he also does the Genuine Imitation Life Gazette, but it really sucks. It's horrible. It's a horrible version of it. Of course, Dino Valente, they do Let's Get Together, which of course was the Youngbloods' probably, biggest hit. Smile on your brother, everybody get together. See, I knew I missed something. I definitely missed that. Here's another one too. Shows up quite a bit in thrift stores. The Grassroots Let's Live for Today, which I think is just a phenomenal psychedelic track, personally. I think probably of all of the songs that they did, to me, that's sort of I like to put that one on mix. Mixes quite a bit because it fits in there really, really well. There it is here. And also Golden Grass. This is a good way to get some of the stuff on that. And the one guy that was in the band, Creed, was actually on The Office. Little known Jeopardy question. It's like a $200 rock and roll Jeopardy question right there. The Incredible String Band, 5,000 Spirits or Layers of the Onion. If you don't have this, you should probably have it.
That's your favorite one, right?
Oh, of the Incredible String Band, I would say. So I mean the cover. I'm sold on the cover, basically. Jefferson Airplane, Surrealistic Pillow. This is in mono. Sounds totally different than the stereo mix. The stereo mix is sounds huge, where this is more of that AM sound that really is really punchy, really good stuff. Will the Grapes' first album. Don't really need to say too much about this other than to buy it. It's really good. Skip Spence, of course. Skip Spence Or is another one that's just a fantastic album. Amazing. Really good stuff. Head by the Monkees. Here's another one that's sort of a lot of people can see yourself in there, maybe. A lot of people really pan this, the Monkees and some of their psychedelic stuff, but this is really, really, really good. I think that's definitely one to go for. Mother's Absolutely Free. Wouldn't necessarily say they were a really psychedelic band. I mean, obviously they were more concerned about drinking beer and when they were going to get paid. Sort of a joke there, but still, kind of avant-garde, sort of the times. I guess is the best way to describe that one. Speaking of Dino Valente, actually no, I'm sorry. Quicksilver Messenger Service. This is Quicksilver Messenger Service's first album. Matt posted this the other day. He picked up this copy. The originals have the shiny cover on them. Really everything that was good and bad about the psychedelic San Francisco scene can be summed up in this album, especially the song The Fool, which is sort of that, the overblown psychedelic sort of sound and meandering kitchen sink kind of production. Actually produced by Nick Gravenitis, who was in the Electric Flag, did some stuff with Mike Bloomfield. And of course, Dino Valente, the guy that wrote Let's Get Together, was in Quicksilver Messenger Service as well. So Dino's song on here is a really good track. They played that at the Monterey Pop Festival. Just listen to this. This is just fantastic. I'm Just rattling this off.
I'm doing it.
Here's the Rolling Stones, their Satanic Majesty's Request. Another one that was panned, definitely has grown into a fantastic album. She's a Rainbow, a song about a woman who has multicolored orgasms. I think 2000 Man, which really is pretty bizarre because there's that line in there. I'm a 2000 man. I'm having a random affair, or no, I'm having an affair with a random computer, which I always thought was sort of the, basically how pornography's rise to where it is now. Instead of being sort of a gutter industry now, is pretty much the internet. 2000 Man, quick downloads. Had to throw this one in here. Simon and Garfunkel, Sounds of Silence. Not necessarily a psychedelic album, a folk album, but they have the full rock band in here. So, and I think some of the session musicians, same people that did stuff with Dylan. So I think there's Mike Bloomfield and Al Cooper and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean this is a good one just because it's Sounds of Silence. I Am a Rock. Richard Corey, fantastic song. Blessed. I mean, that's a psychedelic one. It touched on it. So, and this I believe was 1966. I want to say something like that. So, really cool stuff. That's another one. You can find that one at
most thrift stores.
Yeah, that's the thrift store one. Okay, so here is the first of this. Nancy and Lee. Oh my God, one of my favorite albums of all time. Not necessarily psychedelic, but still at the same time, 60s pop music with sort of the Wrecking Crew. Lee Hazelwood, of course, had ties with Graham Parsons and the International Submarine Band. Of course, I guess he really never did psychedelic, but he had a very interesting. I think he adds an interesting corner to 60s music. It's sort of a darker. They called it the saccharine underground. So it was sort of Sam was giving me crazy eyes back there.
Yeah.
Sort of the.
I don't know if I'd consider that psych.
No, I mean I really don't. But I mean the pop sort of the it's not your normal pop music. Traffic, Mr. Fantasy. Don't really need to say much about this one other than to get it. Paper Sun, Dealer, Colored Rain, Hole in My Shoe, Heaven is in Your Mind, Smiling Phases, Dear Mr. Fantasy. Fantastic album. Really good stuff. Love, Da Capo, the best one-sided album in my collection right there. Love, of course, more, I guess, probably more well-known for Forever Changes, but this album is definitely
really good.
I mean, Stephanie knows, Orange Skies, 7 and 7, The Castle, She Comes in Colors, yet another song about a woman who has multicolored orgasms. Quite the theme back in the 60s. But again, just a great album. Arthur Lee in Love. This is Essential. Electra 4000 series. Another from the Electra 4000 series, The Doors. I don't need to really say anything about this album. If you haven't heard it, you've probably been living in a cave for the last 20 years. Tim Buckley, Hello, Goodbye. This is one that, or Goodbye and Hello, I always mess it up. This is one of the artists that, I guess it would be sort of psych folk. This is probably, he was very avant-garde, experimental sort of sounds. This song has Morning Glory, which is, which was covered by Blood, Sweat, and Tears on their first album. What else is on here? Of course, Goodbye and Hello. Hallucinations. Interesting career, Tim Buckley. I really don't have much to say about him. He's a man all of his own. He's, I don't think anybody really touched upon what he was able to do. But Morning Glory song, I think, is probably his greatest song that he ever did, personally. Here you go. This is A Little Bit of Soul by the Music Explosion. Fantastic. They ended up later being sort of one of the bands in the Buddha Super K sort of Cats and Casanets kind of thing. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Here's one too. This is probably one pretty easy to find. Moody Blues. This is their, not really their second album. This is really their third album if you're counting. This one, In Search of the Lost Chord, really kind of defined where they were going. I personally, I think it's a perfect album, beginning to end. Departure, Ride My Seesaw, Dr. Livingston, I presume, House of Four Doors, Legends of the Mind, Voices in the Sky, The Best Way to Travel, The Actor, The Word, and the word is Om. Great stuff. There's another one. This is another thrift store sort of deal. Monkey's Headquarters. Fantastic. Thank you for everybody for sticking with us 15 minutes thus far. Almost done. All killer. No filler. Here's another thrift store one. Mums and the Papa's first album. My God, where would I be without this album? Monday, Monday, Can't Trust That Day. Straight Shooter is a fantastic, fantastic song. Got a Feeling, I Call Your Name, Do You Want to Dance, Go Where You Want to Go. That's only the first side. California Dreaming, Spanish Harlem, Somebody Groovy, Hey Girl, You Baby, and In Crowd. I'm in with the In Crowd, baby. Daydream, Lovin' Spoonful. On the pop side, Psych, jug band music, which of course is a fantastic song.
I like anything with the Autumn Heart.
And the doctor said, give 'em jug band music. Seems to make 'em feel just fine. The best part is to read this one. You can on YouTube now they do annotations, so it's like they'll do like it's what they think I'm saying, and where I kind of
that would be interesting.
Combine all my words together, and it just makes different things. Gary Lewis and the Playboys' greatest hits, This Diamond Ring, which was written by Al Cooper. Gary Lewis is definitely one of those artists that some of his later albums, he tried to really kind of latch onto the counterculture, but unfortunately it was way too late. Like he couldn't, people didn't believe him. I mean, he was basically, I guess when you're the son of a Hollywood star and, making, your dad made millions of dollars, it's kind of hard to say, like, yeah. Speaking of which, we'll segue.
How many do you have left over there? Jeez Louise.
We'll segue right into this. So some more Hollywood elites. Dino, Desi, and Billy. Of course, I'm a Fool. That was just a great song. It's hard to say how much of this is really session musicians and how much are these kids, but it's
how
good.
How old are they in?
I would say I think they're probably like 14 here, something like that. I don't know. It's sort of just, hey, these kids got to like get dressed up and
straight out of junior high.
Straight out of junior high and playing a band. Produced by Lee Hazelwood. Need I say more? Just walk away, Renee. Of course, Pretty Ballerina. It's The Left Bank. This is on Smash Records. These have been recently reissued on Sundays. I had this for a while. Definitely one that you see quite a bit on 45, and you should pick them up every time, even if you have multiple copies. It's that good of a song. Sam's getting tired.
I'm sorry.
Hey, 98.6, of course, is Keith. Another one. Now I guess this is, as I've avoided pop psych, this is definitely what I would define as pop psych. These next couple are really the good stuff, I guess, when it comes to this. Keith, of course, sort of a one-hit wonder, had 3 albums, really. I think 2 on Mercury and 1 on RCA. I believe I have them all. But good stuff. Picked that up in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, did you just do that? Is that what you did?
Well,
you said oh, but it sounded like that. Crimson and Clover by Tommy James and the Shondells, sort of the local dude. Mad Mike, if you guys remember Mad Mike, I talked about him a long time ago. He sort of broke the hanky panky. Played it at 47 RPM, I believe. He had a train. The train thing, the train speed thing for the like a model train thing.
Yeah.
But he had it hooked up to a turntable so he could sort of, pitch control before there was pitch control, I guess. And so he knocked it up a little bit. So really it's, even though it was recorded at 45, it's like 47 to 48. Here's The Illusion. Did You See Her Eyes? This is on Steed Records. Um, Produced by Jeff Berry. Really, really cool stuff. I think this is, you know, sort of a little bit on the harder side with psychedelic stuff, a little closer to kind of Steppenwolf, I would say, but still really.
You gotta show the back of that.
It's just the front.
Oh, never mind. I didn't see the front. The hair. Lots of hair.
Yep. Here's the Hollies' Greatest Hits. Now, the Hollies, not really a psychedelic band, but they did have a few singles that were worthwhile. Greatest Hits, probably the best way to get these. Of course, On a Carousel, King Midas in Reverse, Pay You Back with Interest. Bus Stop, more so like the 60s British invasion kind of stuff. Of course, Graham Nash was in the group. Where's he at? He's over here, and he left and became 1/4 of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Here's Herman's Hermits with Blaze. Now, remember I was telling you about sort of the kind of square groups kind of dabbling in psychedelic music. They actually cover Museum by Donovan. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
This is the album, so really, really cool stuff there. Harper's Bazaar, Feeling Groovy. This falls right into that light psych category. All their albums, personally, they had about 4 or 5 of them. All worth picking up. Sort of studio kind of thing, but has their moments. Has the moments, I'd say. I'm thinking of all the stuff that I completely forgot now.
What'd you forget?
Just like the Crying Shames, Sugar and Spice, and All Things
I can
Nice.
entertain the.
Every Mother's Son. This one has Come On Down to My Boat. Sort of the Monkees kind of thing, a little more straight. Kind of the fraternity boy next door kind of thing.
Did I get that at a yard sale?
I may have. I mean, I don't know. This one was
No.
this one was from Backstreet. But we, there was some. I think I have several. Here's the Electric Prunes with Mass and F minor. This is probably essential. If you get 2 Electric Prunes albums, get their first one and then get this one. Just fantastic stuff. Or you can get it, by way of the Easy Rider soundtrack. Kind of some of it becomes a little tedious towards the end. Neil Diamond, Just for You. This is Shiloh. Some other really good stuff though. Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon. Red Red Wine. The Boat That I Row, which Lulu covered. Solitary Man. And I'm a Believer. So there's, some good stuff on this one. Red Rubber Ball by The Circle. Do, 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 do. Fantastic stuff right there. This is going to take forever to upload. Dave Clark 5, this is one you can definitely find. Thrift stores, glad all over. Dave Clark 5. I think what's really cool about Dave Clark 5, of course, Dave Clark was the drummer, so he sort of, I think he also played saxophone, but, the drums are really, it's kind of like when you're, the drummer is the lead singer of the group, you can definitely tell that they mix the drums a little bit up front in the mix, so some pretty good stompers. Glad all over is one of those. Definitely something you want to get in mono. Here's Chad and Jeremy, Distant Shores. Pretty much Chad and Jeremy, their last 3 or 4 albums, this is one of them, of Cabbages and Kings, is just a fantastic psychedelic album. More of a grail. It's kind of a hard to come by. This one is probably a little bit easier, which is why I snagged it. But, got the light psych moments to it. Eric Burdon and the Animals, Winds of Change, kind of, a twofer with The Twain Shall Meet, Paint It Black, San Francisco Nights, Good Times, Anything. It's all meat on the same bone. Here's a good way to kind of get some of these. Retrospective by the Buffalo Springfield had some psychedelic moments. Of course, Expecting to Fly is a really, really good one. Mr. Soul. I think it's all, they all kind of had that little bit more heavier than, I don't know who the band I was just thinking about.
I have no idea what you were thinking.
But, they were kind of involved in the Sunset Strip kind of scene, so, one of the reasons I pulled that out of there. Here's another one. You will find this, I will promise you that. The Brooklyn Bridge, What's the Worst That Can Happen? Actually, this is just their self-title, but that's the, the big hit off of this one, so Brooklyn Bridge, just a fantastic light psych kind of band. Of course, this is on the Buddha record label. Another essential, Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart. I wonder what she's doing tonight, or who she's doing, depending on how hard that you listen to the song. They say it once. I'm convinced.
We fight about it all the time.
They say it once. I'm convinced. You listen to it and you tell me. Yeah, just great stuff. They wrote a lot of the Monkey songs, so it just is right in there, as I would say. This is a fantastic album. Last couple here. The Box Tops, The Letter, Neon Rainbow. Basically The Letter and Neon Rainbow, just two great songs that they did. Probably The Letter, the reason why most people know about the Box Tops. They probably had about, 4 or 5 albums. I think four or five. Cry Like a Baby is another one that they did. There's Nonstop, and then also Dimensions. And of course, some of the guys broke up and then they went on to be Big Star. Not the Australian guy on YouTube, but an actual band, Big Star. Did I show the associations?
Nope.
Oh, you know what I think? I still have a whole bunch over here.
The records are everywhere.
Sit back and get comfortable. I forgot a full stack. I think this is going to be a half an hour. I apologize because I normally don't show a video this long, but this will probably take all night to upload. Everything Archies by the Archies. That, of course, is Sugar Sugar, all that good stuff. Who could forget this one? 910 Fruit Gum. Oh, I said it again. There you go. I said it.
Does it every time.
1910 Fruit Gum Company, Indian Giver. Probably my favorite track of theirs. Just a fantastic tune. Indian Giver will definitely not fly in this PC world that we live in. Did I show this or not?
No.
The Association, Windy. This is another one you sort of can find a lot of places. Just really good stuff on here. Windy. What else is on here? Never My Love. It's another good one. My definition of pop psych right there.
Mm-hmm.
Nas was Todd Rundgren before he went on to be Todd Rundgren. Not necessarily Todd Rundgren in this band. He was, 1/4 of the Nas here. Open My Eyes, which he, would later do in the 70s again. He knew it was a hit. The Ohio Express, how could we forget about them? Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy. Of course, Down at Lulu's. First Grade Reader is definitely a psychedelic track, which is a heavy psychedelic track. Not a lot of people would say that, but I would go out on a limb and say so. Van Dyke Parks, Song Cycle. Remember what I was saying about this? These are some of the grails that you don't see too often, but fantastic album. 1967, I believe. Here's some, definitely worth going for. Paul Revere and the Raiders, alias Pink Puzz. This one has Let Me on it. Sort of their later ones are definitely a bit more psychedelic than the earlier ones, but still worth getting. Here is Hard and Heavy with Marshmallow. Here's Hard and Heavy with Marshmallow with the alternative cover, which is actually just the reverse.
Now, why do you think that happened?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But you gotta have
Double
both.
tanks.
You gotta have both. Maybe just a ploy to make you buy both albums. Midnight Ride, Paul Revere and the Raiders. This I think would kind of put them in there. I think Kix is on. Let Me is on. Isn't that the one that's on the Nuggets box set? Either Kix is or Let Me.
Oh, okay.
Let Me. Now Let Me is the one I think that's on the Nuggets box. But this is sort of when they start getting really psychedelic. Peppermint Rainbow, Will You Be Staying After Sunday? Which of course was the only hit on this one. Just really great. Light psychedelic music. How could you forget this one? Young Girl? Oh, no, actually, no, I'm sorry. This one is Woman, Woman. I'm sorry. I said the wrong one. Young Girl's another album that they did. I think this is the one that has the poster in it. You getting bored, Sam?
No.
Nope. It's not in
I
this
don't know
one.
if I can last for the rest of your stack.
Oh,
here.
we got it. Young Rascals. This is Good Lovin'. This is definitely fits into the Nuggets type of thing. They didn't put that on the Nuggets box. Now that I think about that, so I wonder if that might have been something label kind of thing. But definitely an overlooked group, I think, in the genre. Tommy wrote Dizzy. Again, another one that's sort of. I always thought this kind of looked like that, the beginning of Clockwork Orange.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. The Outsiders, Time Won't Let Me. I believe this band was from somewhere in Ohio, I want to say. Really cool stuff.
Can't stop yawning. I'm sorry, I keep yawning.
The Human Beings. I think these people were from Youngstown, Ohio. Nobody But Me, of course.
I
Huge
love
song of theirs. There's Mitch Ryder. This is another one that's sort of that thrift store one. He put out some really good stuff. So, Jenny Take a Ride, Breakout in the Midnight Hour, Sock It To Me, Little Lappin' Loopy Loo.
Wait, little lappin'.
Little Lappin'. Shake a Tail Feather. Alright, who could forget this one? Sam the Sham, Woolly Bully. Hey,
Not
Woolly
the
Bully.
Sam the Sham.
Shadows of the Night, Gloria. This is on Dunwich. It's Dunwich, baby. Really, really cool stuff. Oh yeah. Oh, here's two. Again, Nancy Sinatra, Sugartown. Really good stuff. I would say that it's not necessarily, again, these Nancy Sinatra's not necessarily psychedelic, more pop, but has a good sound. Of course, we're visited by Lee Hazelwood, so mono and stereo. Of course, mono is the preferred for that one. Sir Douglas Quintet, Mendocino, Doug Sham. What else was what was the other one that he had done? She's About a Mover, which was on the Nuggets box set. Soul Survivors. Memphis Jim's probably going to be mad at me for showing this. Keep this record in mind. That's all I got to say. You may be reading things about it here shortly. Let's just put it that way. Expressway to Your Heart, of course. Jim says that this is psychedelic soul music, so maybe I shouldn't have put that. But I consider it, it's pop psychedelic music.
I think, in that genre, you've got a nice grouping, something more folky, something more soul, but it's still
of the times.
Psych-ish.
Sunday Will Never Be the Same, Spanky and Our Gang. Of course, they had a couple other ones. Oh man, I can't. They're eluding me now. About 3 or 4 albums by Spanky and Our Gang. So this is really just kind of, I don't know, kind of panned a little bit. There's the Standells, Dirty Water, Essential. Cat Stevens, Matthew and Sons. This is, kind of a UK psych album. In this case, the psychedelic side of it is not really the fuzz guitars and whatever, but sort of the dreamscapes, if you will, acoustic kind of stuff. Incense and Peppermints, Strawberry Alarm Clock. I've been to parties where they've played the Strawberry Alarm Clock, but I've never been to a party where the band was the Strawberry Alarm Clock.
10 points if you know.
10 points if you know what movie that's from. Just a great album on the Emu label. Sunshine Company, Happy Is. This is back on the street again. Memphis Vinyl Jim may or may not have given me this record. Swinging Medallions, Double Shot of My Baby's Love.
Yeah.
Pretty straight, guys. Pretty straight. Pretty straight. Turtles, Happy Together. Turtles, again, essential band. Pretty much all their albums, I would say, are essential psychedelic pop records. Sometimes best compiled on the Greatest Hits collection. Last couple. Here's one you see all the time. Vanilla Fudge. Self-titled. It's great stuff on here. Ticket to Ride. People Get Ready. She's Not There. Bang Bang. You Keep Me Hanging On, of course, was the big one on there. Fantastic stuff. Of course, these guys all kind of went on and, you know, did bigger and better things. This is another one to look for here. The Ventures, kind of a psychedelic album of theirs. If you're colorblind, you probably can't see what that is. But this is just the Ventures psychedelics. So it's sort of all covers and some of their own songs that they had done. Actually, there may not be any. Actually, no, there's no covers on this. But oh yeah, there is. Happy Together, Strawberry Fields, A Little Bit of Me, A Little Bit of You, Western Union. There's another one I forgot about. We Five, You Were on My Mind. This is sort of a folky. You know, this is more of on the folk side, but You Were on My Mind is definitely a pop hit for sure. Yardbirds, Little Games, dun 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 dun. Little games are for little boys. Of course. You may know who that guy is. Forget what he went on to do. Played on a couple of records. I'm not too sure if they were. You may have heard of them before. I don't know. Of course, here it is. The Association's first album. Fantastic. Along Comes Mary. Blistered. Blistered is just a rave up. Just a great album. Enter the Young. You know, sort of times of things to come, I guess. Produced by Kurt Botcher, which Kurt Botcher did some stuff with. Oh man. Why did I say that? He did with the Millennium. Sorry, I've been talking about for almost 40 minutes now, but this is the last couple here.
Holy cow.
The Buddha's Dial a Hit. This is a great way to get a lot of pop psych music all in one place. Of all the bands that were on the Buddha label. Of course, you can dial a hit. Ohio Express with Mercy. We have the five stair steps, and is that Cubby or Cubby? I always forget. That's Cubby. Smoke Ring, Elephant's Memory, Impressions, Love and the Spoonful, Summer in the City. And last but not least, here's Al Stewart's Love Chronicles, Jimmy Page, all over this one. It's fantastic stuff. I don't...
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just definitely worth picking up. So we'll keep it at 40 minutes. that's a starter kit for you. That's a starter kit. Yeah, we're just gonna let this upload, and we'll see y'all in the morning.